With Bitcoin reaching today a new height of 66k US dollars. A new ETF came out for Bitcoin with a current market cap of the whole cryptocurrency of 2.58 trillion US dollars, with Shiba Coin being the 19th highest ranked cryptocurrency, with even banks jumping on board such as Bank of America and JP Morgan's jumping on the cryptocurrency hype. So today we're going to talk about two things. First, talk about the ETF of Bitcoin, and second, we'll talk about the debit ceiling of the United States. We'll talk about what the ETF means for Bitcoin and how it made Bitcoin go to an all-time high, and we'll talk about the debit ceiling. What does that mean for the USA and how USA market could face a recession? Don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe button below. Turn on the alarm bell to stay tuned for new coming videos.
First things first, let's explain what an ETF means, which stands for an exchange traded fund. It is basically a type of security that tracks an index or a security or commodity or stocks or other things based assets. So basically an ETF is a combination of either one stock or one commodity or multiple commodities in one thing. So imagine it as a fruit basket where you could have the whole basket full of apples only, you could have apples and bananas, or you could have apple, banana, mangoes, all of these together in one basket.
One of the most well-known ETFs is the SPD or S&P 500 ETF, which basically tracks the S&P 500 as we all know.
The SPY ETF contains 99% stocks and 0.27% cash. Their top 10 holding, which include Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Facebook, Alpha C, Brokerage, Tesla, Nvidia, JP Morgan, with a total assets of 382 billion US dollars.
As we said, the ETF basically can contain anything from bonds to investments to private investments to stocks to commodities. Some offer US holding companies. An ETF is the same as a stock where the price fluctuates up and down from being bought and sold, same as the stock. An ETF offers a lower expensive ratio and lower fees compared to buying individual stocks for yourself.
One well-known example is the SPY, like we mentioned, the IWM, which tracks the Russell 2000 small cap index, the Triple Q tracks the Nasdaq 100, and individual sectors such as the oil, energy, finance, commodity sections, and many more.
Bitcoin ETF's proposal, they had a long history with the SEC, from the Security and Exchange Committee in the United States, dating back to July 2013, where the Winklevoss brothers attempted to open an ETF for Bitcoin and got rejected by 2017, 4 years later. Shortly after, the Winklevoss brothers teamed up with SolidX to make a new ETF, which got rejected as well. Grayscale as well attempted to list its first Bitcoin trust fund, GBTC, and a few months later they withdraw the application and listed it on the OTC. NYDIG as well, with many more applied and all got rejected until Tuesday, with ProShare going live on the market with the first ever traded Bitcoin ETF, ticker symbol BITO, with current price share of $43-44.
But guys, be careful before you trade this ETF. The fund basically tracks the CME Bitcoin Futures, or contracts speculating on the future price of Bitcoin rather than the cryptocurrencies itself. So they don't buy Bitcoin itself, they buy future options from CME groups.
So you might ask yourself, what is CME? It's Chicago Mercantile Exchange. So what is the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, CME shortly stands for? It's basically an exchange that only trades futures, so options of stocks, agriculture, whatever, Bitcoin. They are as well known for trading some weird things such as weather derivatives. According to CME groups, they handle more than 3 billion contracts per year worth more than $1 quadrillion US. Yes, you heard me good. $1 quadrillion US.
Let's visualize it. So 1 quadrillion has 15 zeros. If you spend every single day $1 billion US times the 365 days, which will equal to 365 billion US per year, it will take you about 2,740 years to spend all this money.
So they trade anything from soybeans to crude oil to euro bonds to US Treasury bond options to futures of oil, natural gas, Bitcoin, weather. Back in the days, they used to trade options on frozen pork bellies. They currently only have 3 types of cryptocurrencies as options, which is Bitcoin, micro Bitcoin, and Ethereum futures. What's the difference? In each Bitcoin future, it contains 5 Bitcoins and is priced in US dollars and cents. In micro Bitcoin, the only difference is that it's 0.1 Bitcoin in the contract and is based as well in US dollars. And in Ethereum, in a contract, you have 50 Ethereums and is based in US dollars as well. So let me explain basically what does BITO, the ETF, do and how does it regulate things. So they basically buy contracts and options from CME to go, like I explained. What is an ETF? It's a collection of a commodity, options, bonds, whatever. They buy options from CME for future Bitcoin prices. That's what these prices are based on.
Well, by analysts expecting that Bitcoin hits 100K in 2021 or early 2022. There has been a flow chart model predicting the price of Bitcoin since 2010, which predicts that the price tag of Bitcoin is going to be around 96K and 107,000 US dollars in the next 10 days to 63 days, with the next halving event happening in May 2024.
I'm really bullish or positive about that Bitcoin is going to go to 100K, and as the flow chart shows that Bitcoin is going to go to 1 million US dollars by 2024, 2026, in between this, based on the flow chart model I just presented. What makes me say that Bitcoin is going to go to 100K is definitely the people that believe in the new blockchain technology, that the ETF just got listed after how many years of trial, that big investors start pouring their money in. The only issue it has now, and that's the issue with mainly the government, is that the regulation for it is not done yet, which is still in procedure. I definitely believe that Bitcoin might not go to 100K by end of this year or by the beginning of next year. It might touch the 90K level and then drop correction territory and then jump back up in the next few coming years.
So what is a debit ceiling or a debit limit? Is the total amount of money that the USA government is authorized to borrow to meet its legal obligations such as social security, Medicare benefits, military, interest on national debt, tax returns, and other payments. It's basically a limit that they put for themselves that allows the US government to borrow money. Recently saving themselves in October from a default, increasing the debit limit to 400 billion US dollars, which would make them survive all the way up to 3rd of December of 2021. Then they will have to come up with another solution, either raise the limit or default on its credit or find a solution. Due that the USA actually has a really good credit rating, AAA, which means basically they have been always paying their debt back. So defaulting basically on a debt and a government shutdown, that will affect the scoring rate. Imagine you take a credit out in the bank, you've been paying for the last 30 to 40 years every single month your debt. 1 month you weren't able to pay. That would definitely affect your credit rating, which really would affect the whole country. The Congress has always acted when called upon to raise the debit limit since 1960. Congress has acted 78 separate times to permanently raise, temporarily extend, or reverse the definition of the debit. 49 times under Republican, and 29 times under Democrat. This is basically a letter from Secretary Yellen to the White House representatives. Basically explains that due to the raise of the debit limit, it's now able to pay its bills until the 3rd of December. The Treasury will also suspend the sale of state and local government series, which was initially announced on the 23rd of July.
Because a cash. It's the same thing that happens now with Bitcoin regulations. There's no regulations for it. That's the same what happened in the financial crisis. There was no regulations for derivative. The banks can issue any derivatives they want and everything. And now regulation on Bitcoin is getting harder and harder. Governments are chasing it more and more and more, such as China banning Bitcoin at all and cryptocurrencies at all. I'm definitely going all in on board on Bitcoin now, and probably sell around the 95k dollars range and wait for a correction to come and then buy in again. If the US will default on its debt and won't be able to pay by the 3rd of December and there's a shutdown happens, a lot of investors are going to sell all their stocks or all their stakes in all their stocks, commodities, ETFs, which will affect as well as Bitcoin and a lot of things, which will cause a huge disaster and a recession. Don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe button below. Turn on the alarm bell to stay tuned for new coming videos.